Most women think they're just overthinking, that the noise in their heads, the replays, the regrets, the sharp-edged memories are just their fault. Maybe if they were more spiritual, more disciplined, more forgiving, more healed. Close your eyes now if you haven't already. The outer world has said enough. This world, the inner terrain, belongs to you. And here, there is no punishment for remembering, no shame in trembling. The heart has always spoken in the language of images. So let's begin the journey through image and sensation. Breathe in. A soft wind brushes against your skin. Not real wind, but the memory of it. The kind you felt as a child running barefoot through tall grass. There is the scent of lilac, of petrichor, of something ancient and kind that has no name. Your shoulders, which have curled forward in defense for too long, begin to melt backward into trust. You are safe here. Imagine a place, your perfect sleeping sanctuary. Do not force the vision. Let it rise, like mist from still water. It may be a room with velvet walls and a fire crackling softly. It may be a field under moonlight, stars threading through the branches of a willow tree. It may be the inside of a cloud, soft and hollow, floating far from time. Let the place shape itself. You are not the architect, you are the guest. Trust what your subconscious builds. It knows what you need. You walk forward slowly, each step releasing. The feet soften, the ankles dissolve tension. The knees are not locked, not guarded. You are allowed to be held by the earth. You are not falling, you are being received. There is a bed ahead, or perhaps a nest. It glows faintly, not bright, just enough to invite. The bedding is textured with every sense of comfort you've ever longed for. The temperature knows your needs. The silence here is not empty, it is protective. You sit, then lie down. The fabric hugs the contours of your body. Your spine, so often a battlefield, begins to uncoil like a fern in spring. The muscles around your eyes drop. The jaw unhooks from the grief it was hiding. Your belly, tight with centuries of silence, releases like a tide going out. You're not here to do anything. You are here to undo. And yet something stirs, just beneath consciousness, in the spaces between thought. A flicker, a presence, not threatening, just watching. The part of you that doesn't trust this calm yet. The inner guardian. She's been on duty too long. You acknowledge her. You thank her. You let her know she can rest. That for the next few hours, you will be the one keeping watch. She doesn't believe you yet, but she's listening. Breathe again. The mind, of course, will resist. It will reach for a thought, a list, a fear, an old conversation that doesn't matter anymore. That is okay. Let it reach, then let it release. You are not your thoughts. You are the sky they pass through. And now the sky darkens, not with threat but with rest. You are descending, like a pearl sinking into velvet depths, like a candle extinguishing in warm wind. The descent is natural. Welcome it. Your subconscious is ready. The children of your memory have stirred, and they will not arrive screaming. They will arrive slowly, each one carrying the story she needed someone to hear. And you will be the one who hears it, without judgment, with grace. Soon, the first of them will appear. But for now, you float between worlds, held, heard, healing. Healing. The mind, of course, will resist. It will reach for a thought, a list, a fear, an old conversation that doesn't matter anymore. That is okay. Let it reach, then let it release. You are not your thoughts. You are the sky they pass through. And now the sky darkens, not with threat but with rest. You are descending, like a pearl sinking into velvet depths, like a candle extinguishing in warm wind. The descent is natural. Welcome it. Your subconscious is ready. The children of your memory have stirred, and they will not arrive screaming. They will arrive slowly, each one carrying the story she needed someone to hear. And you will be the one who hears it, without judgment, with grace. Soon, the first of them will appear. But for now, you float between worlds, held, heard, healing. Healing. But the truth is, sleeplessness is not born from weakness. It is a signal flare in the mind, a lantern glowing in the cavern of your subconscious, where the smallest, youngest version of you still waits, unseen, unheard, unheld. She doesn't need to be lectured or fixed. She needs to be felt. Have you ever wondered why in the quiet of night the mind doesn't soften but sharpens? Why some thoughts don't arrive like guests but burst in like thieves? These are not thoughts, they are ghosts, specters of unmet needs, echoes of a child pacing in the hallways of memory, not malicious, just unsatisfied, not broken, just forgotten. Tonight, the healing begins, not with force, not with a flood of affirmations, but with a whisper, with stillness, because healing never enters loudly. It enters when the body no longer has to brace. Let your breath begin to deepen, not with effort. Let it drop like a stone in a river, rippling outward. The inhale may feel shallow at first, like it doesn't want to come. That's okay. You've spent years holding your breath without knowing. Trauma trains the body to ration oxygen, like it's dangerous to fully inhale. But not here. not now. As you lie back, feel the ground beneath you, the bed, the blanket, the slow weight of your own skin softening. This is not ordinary sleep. This is cellular sleep, archetypal sleep, a rest so deep that it does not just refresh, it remembers. It brings your forgotten selves home. This hypnosis is not about erasing memories. It's about rewriting the emotional signature they left behind, about returning the power that moments of helplessness stole. Tonight, we will not exile your pain. We will mother it. Shadow work is not about light chasing darkness. It is about the light sitting beside the dark and saying, I see you. I'm not leaving. Somewhere in your chest, beneath the ribs, there is a door you've been avoiding. Not because you're weak, but because once you walked through it and were not met. But tonight, that door opens slowly, not into terror, into tenderness, and in color. You will meet yourself in pieces, each one wrapped in old armor, each one convinced they are unlovable. The angry piece, the scared one, the desperate one, the vigilant one. They are not your enemies. They are the daughters of survival. And you are the woman they've been waiting for. You are not falling asleep. You are falling inward, down, through layers of your own forgotten landscape. The noise of the world muffled now, like a crowd on the other side of thick glass. The air around you has changed. It is denser, more sacred. You've crossed the threshold. This is the underworld of healing, the place where illusions dissolve and the truest parts of you wait to be found. Your breath is your guide now. In, out. It flows without needing permission, and with each cycle, it carries away one thread of tension, one fragment of fear. You are lighter than you've ever been, yet more rooted than ever before, anchored not in control, but in surrender. Your body lies safe and still, yet your awareness glides like silk across dark water. You are approaching the next space, the next veil, and behind it, something waits, not to haunt, but to be seen. Imagine now a hallway. She stands now, her small hands clenched into fists, though she says nothing. Her chest heaves with a fury too big for her frame. She is electric. She is sacred. And she is exhausted. No one ever let her be angry. They told her she was too much, too loud, too sensitive. They told her to stop crying or stop yelling. They told her to be quiet, be nice, be good. But what no one asked was, what happened to her? Anger is not a flaw. It is not a sin. It is the scream of a boundary being violated. It is grief wearing a sharper costume. And this little one, She was violated in ways that didn't look like abuse, but felt like abandonment. She was told to forgive what was never apologized for, told to move on before she understood what had happened, told that being angry made her ugly, unworthy, unwanted. Her fists don't unclench yet. Her breath is still jagged, but her eyes change. The storm doesn't stop, but it pauses, because for the first time, she is seen not as a problem, but as a signal. You don't rush her. You offer her your lap. She stares at it like it's a trick. Then, finally, with a shuddering breath, she steps forward, slowly, warily. She doesn't collapse into you. She leans, barely, but it's enough. Enough to begin healing the belief that anger means exile, that rage means rejection. Your hand moves to her back, resting lightly. She is still stiff, but she does not move away. Anger is not the opposite of peace. It is the first cry for peace, and tonight you answer that cry. You tell her, without words, your fire is sacred. You were never too much. You were protecting what no one else protected. Her fists don't unclench yet. Her breath is still jagged, but her eyes change. The storm doesn't stop, but it pauses, because for the first time, she is seen not as a problem, but as a signal. You don't rush her. You offer her your lap. She stares at it like it's a trick. Then, finally, with a shuddering breath, she steps forward, slowly, warily. She doesn't collapse into you. She leans, barely, but it's enough. Enough to begin healing the belief that anger means exile, that rage means rejection. Your hand moves to her back, resting lightly. She is still stiff, but she does not move away. Anger is not the opposite of peace. It is the first cry for peace, and tonight you answer that cry. You tell her, without words, your fire is sacred. You were never too much. You were protecting what no one else protected. It stretches ahead, impossibly long, lined with doors. Each door carries a memory, a sensation, a version of you. The air is still, yet thick with meaning. You walk slowly. The floor is soft beneath your feet, like moss or velvet. Your hand brushes the walls as you pass. They hum, they know you. Some doors glow faintly, some remain in shadow. You will not open them all tonight, only the ones ready, only the ones calling for you now, not from desperation, but readiness. At the end of the hallway is a final door, simpler than the rest, wooden, warm to the touch. You place your hand on it and pause. You are not rushing. There is no hurry in healing. The door opens without force, and beyond it is a room you've never seen, yet somehow remember. A wide, dim space, safe and ancient, lit only by candlelight. The walls curve around like a womb, and scattered across the room, sleeping children, each one curled under a different blanket, some on floor cushions, some in rocking chairs, some bundled in corners like kittens. They are not real children, not in the flesh. They are pieces of you, each one born from a moment you had no power to control, each one shaped by a truth no one was ready to hear. These are your memories in child form, your trauma, not as horror, but as innocence left unprotected. You walk among them. The room is utterly still. Your footsteps are soundless. You are not afraid. You know this place. You've carried it inside you all your life. A few of the children stir, not from fear, but recognition. One lifts her head, eyes wide, unblinking, her brow furrowed like a storm just beneath the surface. She does not cry. She glares. Her arms are crossed, her shoulders tight with defiance. She is not fragile. She is fire. This is the angry child. The silence breathes with you now. It is no longer the brittle quiet of suppression. It is the living stillness of something sacred taking shape. Your steps are slow. Every part of your being is listening. You are deeper than before, and deeper still you will go. Another child stirs. This one doesn't rise. She shrinks, tucked beneath a woven blanket that seems too large for her small frame. You barely notice her at first. She isn't the kind of pain that shouts. She is the kind that hides, that apologizes for existing, that curls into corners and hopes she won't be noticed, because she's learned that attention doesn't always mean affection. You kneel slowly, careful not to startle her. She doesn't meet your gaze. Her eyes flick toward you, then away, nervous, guarded, familiar. This is the worried child. This child, this version of you, is not weak. She is the reason you noticed when something felt off. She is why you survived the gaslighting, the emotional neglect, the uncertainty. She's the one who paid attention when others numbed out. She is the keeper of intuition. You honor her, not by silencing her, but by letting her know she doesn't have to carry it all anymore. You're not alone now, you whisper. You don't have to know what happens next. She sighs, a full body, trembling exhale that seems to release something ancient. The kind of sigh that only comes after a lifetime of trying to be good enough. And then she curls back beneath the blanket, not from shame this time, but surrender, trust. You place something beside her, not a gift, a symbol, a smooth, warm stone etched with the words, "You are safe," without earning it. She wraps her fingers around it. As she closes her eyes, your body softens as hers does. Two nervous systems syncing, releasing. One memory no longer haunting. You rise again. The room still holds many children. You sense them layered in dreamlike stillness. Each one waits, not with neediness, but with quiet hope. You move now not as a visitor, but as a healer, not because you fixed anything, but because you have felt everything. And there, in a dimmer corner of the room, nearly invisible, sits the next child. This one doesn't move at all. She is small, so small, she almost seems made of air. Her back is to you, her spine slightly curved, like she's forgotten how to stand tall. She sits alone, no blanket, no cushion, no comfort. She is not hiding. She has simply given up being found. This is the lonely child, not the dramatic kind of loneliness that cries for attention, the quieter kind, the kind that aches like hunger, that sits through birthday parties unnoticed, that eats dinner across from emotionally absent parents, that sleeps in a bed full of silence. This child learned that connection wasn't hers to have. That closeness was something others received, while she watched from the edges. She was the girl who smiled too wide, too often, hoping someone might ask how she really felt. They never did, so she stopped hoping. Loneliness like this becomes a worldview. Even now, in adult form, you felt her whisper when you're in a crowded room and feel like you don't belong. When you love people deeply, but hold back your full self, afraid they'll step away if they see too much. When you try to explain what you feel and words fail, so you laugh instead. She is the root of your isolation in intimacy. You walk to her slowly, no movement. You sit silently just behind her, not pressing, not coaxing. You simply exist with her. That is more than anyone ever did before. Minutes pass like lifetimes. Finally, she speaks. One word, quiet, nearly imagined. Why? You know what she means. Why didn't anyone stay? Why was I the invisible one? Why did I have to raise myself? And though no words will change the past, your presence answers her. You are no longer unseen. You offer her a blanket. She does not turn, but her shoulder twitches, a signal not of rejection, but of possibility. You drape it gently around her, not to smother, just to witness. She leans back, just enough to let her body touch yours, and that too is enough. Loneliness does not leave in a rush. It dissolves in relationship, and here now she is not alone. She will sleep soon, but not yet, because for the first time her body believes someone might still be there when she wakes. You hold her as she drifts. Not tightly, just enough. The kind of hold that says, you don't need to disappear to be loved. You watch her breath deepen. The breath of a child learning that belonging isn't earned by shrinking, it is inherited. And now your own breath mirrors hers, slow, steady, safe. You rise once more, but your soul remains beside her, because the children of the psyche are not healed in words, they are healed in presence. And tonight, you are the presence they prayed for. There is one more child waiting, one last guardian, but not yet. First, silence. First, stillness. First, let the warmth return to your chest. The one who lies awake at night with a mind spinning faster than her body can follow. She's worn grooves into her thoughts, replaying everything she said today, yesterday, 5 years ago. She is the origin of your overthinking, your people-pleasing, your racing thoughts when things go quiet. Her world has always felt like it could fall apart at any second. This child learned early that safety was a performance, that if she just did everything right, maybe the chaos wouldn't come. Maybe the yelling would stop. Maybe the silence would soften. Maybe love would stay. But it never worked, because love that demands performance is not love. It is control wearing a smiling mask. And so she became the planner, the fixer, the anticipator of moods. She read rooms like survival manuals. She watched eyes instead of playing with toys. She learned to see disappointment in the twitch of an eyebrow and mistook it for failure. But none of this was her fault. She was never meant to hold that much weight. You move a little closer. She flinches, not from fear of you, but fear of being wrong about you. She has trusted before. She paid the price. You whisper now, not with your mouth, but with presence. You don't have to earn my gentleness. It is already yours. She looks up. The eyes are not wide like the angry child's. They are tired, purple beneath them. Tension lives in her brow, in her small clenched jaw, in the way she grips the edge of her blanket like a lifeline. You reach out your hand, not to touch her, but to offer space. She stares at it for a long moment, and then she moves. She doesn't come toward you, but she lets go of the blanket, and that is enough. You speak without speaking. You were never wrong for being afraid. Fear was not your failure. It was your guide. The silence is sacred now. It's no longer just the absence of sound. It's the presence of meaning. A vast, resonant stillness that holds every healed child, every softened breath, every unspoken truth finally met. You are no longer wandering through your own subconscious. You are becoming its keeper. And still, There is one more who hasn't yet come forward. You sense her before you see her. The air shifts. The hairs along your arms lift. There is a hum, like static beneath the skin. A tension, not hostile but alert, hyper-aware. This one doesn't sleep. She doesn't cry. She doesn't flinch. She watches. She has always watched. Your eyes adjust to the dimness, and there she is, in the farthest edge of the room, standing, not curled, not sitting, not resting, standing, eyes wide, shoulders drawn up as if bracing for something inevitable. Every muscle is taut, ready to run or fight or freeze. Something shifts, not much, but she blinks, once. Her shoulders drop half an inch, maybe less, still scanning, but beginning, just beginning, to believe that maybe she doesn't have to do this alone. You reach beside you and place something on the floor. Not an offering, an invitation, a lantern. It glows faintly with a warmth that's steady, not dazzling, not aggressive, just present. And across the room, something flickers in her gaze, recognition. You don't rush it. Hypervigilance cannot be loved away. It can only be accompanied until the nervous system decides on its own that it's safe to rest. And after what feels like a long, aching eternity, she takes one step forward. Not surrender, not softness, but curiosity. Then another, and then she stops, 5 feet away. Enough. Enough to share breath, enough to stop bracing. You speak now, softly, not to her mind, but to her body. The danger is over. She doesn't nod, but she hears you, and her knees begin to give. You rise quickly, not to catch her, but to be near, to bear witness as the child who never got to rest finally collapses, not from defeat, but release. You lay her down. She does not sleep, not yet. Her eyes remain open, blinking slowly, still watching, but no longer defending. She watches you now, watches your calm, your groundedness, and something new blooms across her face. Not trust, not yet, but something older, a longing to rest, to sleep, to believe that peace won't betray her. You sit beside her, no words, just presence, your body an anchor, and slowly her breath aligns with yours. That is all that's needed, because healing doesn't come from understanding. It comes from being felt. And she, this vigilant, exhausted child, has never been felt until now. You brush a strand of hair from her forehead. She doesn't flinch. That's when you know. The fear hasn't vanished, but it no longer owns her. She blinks again, slower now, lids heavy, muscles loosen. For the first time in years, maybe ever, she begins to drift, not because it's safe, but because you are. She breathes out, long and low, the breath of a guard finally off duty, and her eyes close, not in fear, beating in rest. You watch her, You memorize this moment because it is sacred. This is the first night she has allowed sleep to find her. And so you do not move. You simply sit until her breathing slows even further, until her body goes soft in every place that once held tension, until the final trace of alertness is gone. And now the room is still again. All your children, your angry self, your anxious self, your lonely self, your worried self have been met, not punished, not pushed away, met, held, heard. The atmosphere thickens, not with fear, but with quiet. A warmth builds in your chest, the sense of something ending, or maybe beginning. There is one last door. It is not outside this room. It is within you, and it is opening. This is the anxious child, the hypervigilant one, the part of you who could never let her guard down, who learned early that the world shifts suddenly, that safety is never guaranteed, that calm can be a trap. She doesn't believe in peace. She's never seen it last. You step toward her and feel it immediately. She doesn't want to be approached. She's not afraid of you. She's afraid of what happens when she's not afraid, because her fear has been armor, a shield that kept her one step ahead of danger. It made her sharp, sensitive, able to predict moods, sense motives, dodge conflict before it ever began. That skill saved her. But now it's keeping her from sleep. She can't sleep, not even now. Even in this dream space, even in your presence, her eyes dart, searching for what's wrong, for what might shift, for what might sting. And so you stop. You do not move closer. You simply kneel again from a distance, and you watch her for once. Not to assess her, not to control her, but to honor her vigilance, her stance, her breathing, her refusal to rest. None of it is wrong. It's holy. It's the behavior of someone who learned too young that safety had to be earned second by second. And now she is tired, so very tired. She doesn't say it, but you feel it in the way her knees tremble just slightly, in the way her fists stay clenched, not out of rage, but from routine. You don't ask her to soften. You don't ask her to trust. That would be betrayal in disguise. Instead, you mirror her. You sit upright, still, eyes open, breath slow. You match her energy, not to imitate, but to meet her where she is. To say, without words, I can sit in the alertness with you. You are not alone, even here. There are no footsteps now, no creaks of wood beneath your feet, no new child waiting in the dark. The room of inner children has gone still, each one breathing in a rhythm that feels like forgiveness, a collective exhale, a stillness that's not emptiness, but completion. Yet the healing is not over, because beneath all the layers, beneath the rage, the anxiety, the ache of loneliness, the clench of fear, there is something deeper still. A root, a core, a memory without words, and it is here, not outside of you, within. The room dissolves, not violently, gently. The candlelight fades. The floor beneath you softens into mist. The air warms, and suddenly you are floating again, not outward, but inward, down into the marrow of your being, past thought, past name, past form. There is no child here. There is only you, the original you, before the performance, before the defense mechanisms, before the mask you wear even when you sleep. Because she recognizes you, not the version of you who survived, but the one who is ready to thrive. You reach out. She doesn't resist. She pulses warmly against your palms, your chest, your heart. And the moment your body touches hers, something opens. A memory floods through, not a story, but a knowing. You were never broken. You were split, fragmented to survive, scattered across years and bedrooms and arguments and silences. And now you are gathering, becoming whole, not by going back, but by welcoming back. You inhale deeply, and she, the original spark, breathes with you. And then, slowly, she moves, not away from you, into you, like a warm current slipping beneath your skin. She moves into your chest, your throat, your belly, your spine. And with each inch, you remember the sound of your own laugh before it was careful, the feeling of joy that wasn't measured, the power of rage that didn't need apology, the sacredness of rest that didn't demand productivity. You remember yourself, not the self you built to please, not the self you armored to survive, the one that was always there, watching, waiting, beneath the noise. She settles now, in your heart, not as a guest, as the host. You are not becoming something new, you are returning to something ancient. And as this realization anchors into your body, something in your breath shifts. You exhale, not just air, but old pain, the final fragments, the final whispers of shame, of self-doubt, of survival dressed as self-worth. And then you feel it, the click, the inner alignment, the moment the pieces fuse back together. You are whole again. You always were, but now you know it, and knowing is everything. Around you, the mist thickens, not to blind you, but to cradle you. You are not alone in this space. You are all of you. The angry one, resting now. The worried one, no longer bracing. The lonely one, touched. The hypervigilant one, finally sleeping. The root memory, alchemized. The spark, returned. And above all, you, as you are now. a woman with clarity in her chest and softness in her jaw, a woman who no longer chases approval in the dark, a woman who can sleep without apology. You lie back, not on a bed, but on breath itself. The air beneath you holds you like velvet. The body is no longer tense. It is liquid, fluid, weightless. You do not float. You belong, and sleep begins to draw near. Not the kind of sleep that comes to escape, the kind that comes after truth, a sleep that is sacred. And still, there is one more door, but not to open, to close. And she is waiting. You arrive in a space that has no walls, no ceiling, no floor, just a glowing hum, like the universe remembering itself. You do not see her, but you feel her. That first wound, not an event, a moment, the exact breath in time where you first believed, I am not safe. Maybe it was the scream in the other room that made your tiny body flinch. Maybe it was the silence that followed, more terrifying than any sound. Maybe it was the look on someone's face, a parent, a stranger, someone you trusted, when they pulled away instead of drawing close. Maybe you don't remember at all, but your body does. And now you return to that body, to the root, to the one who took that moment and carved it into a belief. I am not enough. I am too much. I am not worthy of love unless I prove it. This belief has shaped your life like invisible hands. Every relationship, every sleepless night, every apology you didn't owe, every man you tried to fix, to earn, every room you entered already shrinking. It didn't begin with your mind. It began with your nervous system, with that root. And now you return, not to relive it, but to reclaim it. Imagine yourself now, not as you are, but as you were before the world taught you to fear. You see her, not a child this time, not even a person, but a spark, a glowing orb of consciousness, of potential, of essence. She floats in the center of this vast space, pulsing faintly, faint but not fading. She is your original self, untouched by trauma, unburdened by roles, unapologetic in her power. She is the one you were always meant to become. And she's still here. She was never destroyed, only buried. And now, as you approach, she flickers brighter. There's a door now. You see it not with your eyes, but with your knowing. It exists at the edge of consciousness, right where thought becomes dream, where memory fades into breath, where the waking self dissolves into sleep. This door does not lead deeper. It leads back, not to the past, but to the present, to the moment where all versions of you, the loud, the small, the guarded, the bruised, the weary, can finally exhale together. This is not an exit, it is a return, a closing of the loop. And before you pass through it, you pause, because here, in this exact place, is the final act of healing. Not rescuing the wounded child, not dissolving the intrusive thought, but releasing the need to become anything other than what you are. You lie here now, quiet and held, and as your breath deepens, the room begins to respond. It's subtle, like a wave pulling back before a tide. That emotion is not weakness. That rest is not earned. It is your birthright. You lie back again, and your spine curves into the shape of the earth. Your muscles no longer wait for impact. Your breath no longer tiptoes. Everything in you begins to trust the weight of sleep. And the thoughts, they still float, but they are no longer knives. They are leaves, soft, passing, carried by wind. They drift by like old photographs you don't need to hold anymore. No resistance, no grasping. They can move because you have stopped chasing. You have stopped needing to catch the past and pin it down. You are not its prisoner. You are its witness. And witnesses don't carry blame. They carry clarity. Now, from far within your being, you hear it. A heartbeat, slow, steady, yours. Not racing, not bracing, just present. This is the rhythm of a nervous system finally allowed to believe. The danger is gone. Your fingers relax. Your jaw slackens. Slow melodious to a living at hue mode. Airy age, the trolage of skies, smallage to meeting for the flutter, then either sooniers terminated. The eyes flutter, the throat opens, and there, just beneath the ribs, is a softness you haven't felt in years. The softness of being enough, not for anyone else, just for you. In this state, you don't need answers, you don't need closure, you don't even need sleep. But sleep comes anyway, and it's the kind of sleep that touches the soul, where the dream world doesn't pull you into panic, but into restoration, where the subconscious no longer loops the story, but rewrites it, where the parts of you that never met safety finally do. And here, in the weightless hush between the last thought and the first dream, you surrender, not as defeat, as devotion to life, to love, to the woman you are becoming. Because here's the truth that no trauma could erase. You were never broken. You were becoming. And now you are. The candles dim, not snuffed, just restful. The mist that held you begins to thin, revealing light. A pale glow, not harsh, but eternal. The kind of light you feel in your cells more than you see, and you realize you are still here, but different. The trauma didn't leave your body like a violent eviction. It unknotted like a thread loosening from tight cloth. It didn't have to scream on its way out. It just needed to be known. And now, with the fire cooled and the nervous system soothed, your mind no longer clings. You don't chase the thought. You don't brace against the next flashback. You don't fear the silence. You are simply here, and here is enough. Now, imagine the door again. It pulses gently. No handle, no lock. It doesn't need one. Because this door opens only for those who are ready to let go. And you are. not because everything is fixed, but because you've stopped needing fixing. This door doesn't require a password, only a decision to carry forward your wholeness, to leave behind the shame that never belonged to you, to walk into sleep not as escape, but as sanctuary. Your hand moves slowly. You touch the door, and a rush of warmth surges up your arm, like sunlight under skin, like love without demand, like your own name said right. And the door dissolves. It doesn't swing, it doesn't creak, it simply disappears, because it was never a door at all. It was a belief that you needed to work for healing, that you had to be better to be loved, that your pain made you lesser, that survival meant shrinking, that the past still had power. But now you know. You know that memory is not prophecy. Sleep does not arrive like a thief anymore. It comes as a lover, slow, unhurried, reverent, not to take something from you, but to give back what was taken, hour by hour, year by year, while you were busy surviving. Your body is weightless now, but not because it has disappeared, because it is no longer carrying what was never yours. The rage that belonged to someone else's silence, the fear that grew from someone else's chaos, the shame that was passed down like heirloom furniture, worn and splintering, never meant to fit your soul. All of it set down, finally. And in its place, a stillness that feels like truth, not the kind you have to believe in, the kind you recognize. This is what happens when you stop negotiating with the past. It absorbs it, transforms it. And that's what you've done here. Tonight, you've met the ghosts and fed them. You've kissed the bruised places, not to make them disappear, but to remind them they still matter. And now, the mind begins to float, not disassociate, not detach, but soften, like petals folding inward at night, like the tide pulling away from the shore, knowing it will return without needing to rush. And in this in-between place, just before the full descent into sleep, something opens. A memory, but not one you can name. It feels older than your name, older than your body. A cellular knowing, a glimpse of the woman you would have been, had the world not wounded you, and the woman you still can be. She stands somewhere ahead of you, not in time, but in truth. Tall, unshaken, open-hearted, yet boundaried. She walks through rooms without shrinking. She does not tolerate dishonesty, not from others, and not from herself. She does not beg. She does not prove. She does not explain her worth. She chooses, and when she loves, it is not in desperation, it is in clarity. She has cried the necessary tears. She has screamed into the ocean. She has walked barefoot through the glass of her own illusions and made it through. You see her now, not as fantasy, as foreshadowing. She is you, already forming, already awake, already rewriting the ending. And in the hush of this moment, as your breath deepens even more, you send her a message, not with words, but with stillness. I'm coming, not perfectly, not quickly, but inevitably. And she smiles, not the smile of encouragement, the smile of knowing, because she remembers this moment. She remembers this night, the night you stopped running from your mind, the night you let your trauma come home, the night you chose softness over shame, the night you let go not to collapse, but to rise. And now, her image fades, not lost, integrated, and in its place is only sensation, warm, whole, safe. Your spine softens again, the neck releases, your hands fall open on the covers, palms up, receptive. And your final waking thought is not a thought at all. It's a truth that lives in your skin now. Nothing outside of you can complete you, and nothing from your past can claim you. Not anymore, not ever again. When you stop trying to win a war that ended long ago, when you stop mistaking vigilance for virtue, you lie here, surrounded by fragments of your younger selves, no longer in pieces, but in communion. They do not pull at you anymore. They do not scream. They rest. They integrate. You are not their captor. You are their home. The angry child now breathes in slow, molten waves, her fists unclenched, her jaw soft, her fire no longer burning everything it touches, but glowing from within like a hearth. She trusts your stillness. The worried child sleeps with one hand on her chest, no longer scanning the future, no longer rehearsing disaster. Her dreams are not strategies, they are songs. The lonely one no longer leans into the shadows of the room. She lies in your light, covered in a blanket she didn't ask for, but now accepts. She believes, perhaps for the first time, that love can come without conditions. And the anxious one? The girl who once stood guard at every door of your psyche, scanning for danger with eyes too tired to blink, she has let go. Her back no longer stiff, her breathing synced with yours, her hypervigilance melted into presence. They are all here, but they are not wounds anymore. They are witnesses, and they are watching you now, not for mistakes, not for failure, but in awe, because something in you has changed, not superficially, not performatively, but alchemically. You are not performing healing. You are healing. The difference is subtle, but it is everything. Performing healing is exhausting. It demands you get better quickly, smile in the mirror, recite affirmations with a clenched jaw. It tells you to forgive before you've even grieved, to move on without metabolizing. True healing whispers, "It's okay to take your time." It lets you scream and then cradle yourself afterward. It doesn't erase the past. Sleep does not arrive like a thief anymore. It comes as a lover, slow, unhurried, reverent, not to take something from you, but to give back what was taken, hour by hour, year by year, while you were busy surviving. Your body is weightless now, but not because it has disappeared, because it is no longer carrying what was never yours. The rage that belonged to someone else's silence, the fear that grew from someone else's chaos, the shame that was passed down like heirloom furniture, worn and splintering, never meant to fit your soul. All of it set down, finally, and in its place, a stillness that feels like truth, not the kind you have to believe in, the kind you recognize. This is what happens when you stop negotiating with the past. You let it move through you like thunder, like a river that remembers how to flow. And when it passes, there is nothing left to fear, because the moment didn't break you. Disconnection did, and connection, this connection, has restored you. Now, the chair dissolves. The room fades, not erased, just complete. And you drift again, deeper, but not darker, deeper into light. The kind of light that exists inside closed eyes. The kind that glows from your own chest. And in this place, there is no enemy, no trigger, no loop, only presence, only you. And you are enough. No one else in this world will ever know the full story of what you've survived. Not because you didn't tell it right, but because words will never be wide enough to hold what you've carried. Only you know. Only your body remembers. And now your body releases. The muscle that held the secret, soft. The organ that stored the guilt, light. The skin that braced for rejection, warm. You are no longer a battlefield. You are a sanctuary. You were never meant to be the one holding everyone else up. You were meant to be held, and tonight you are, by the divine, by the earth, by every woman who came before you and whispered into the wind, let her rest, let her wake up new. And they are here, all of them, the invisible lineage of healers, survivors, ancestors, archetypes, the wise woman, the mother, the maiden, the crone, They encircle you in this sleep space, humming your worth back into your blood, not with chance, but with presence. You feel them, those you never met but who dreamed of you, who paved a path you didn't know you were walking. They do not rescue you, they recognize you. And you remember now, you are not healing alone. You never were. You were simply asleep to your power. And now, your soul is waking up, even as your body drifts into sleep. This is the paradox of true rest. The body sleeps, the soul returns, and tonight she returns to the throne of self, the temple of worth, the truth of being. And she does not apologize for her crown. She wears it in silence, because real power is quiet, not performative, not dramatic, just steady. And that is what you are now, steady, still, held, whole. You'll feel their impact in the way you move differently tomorrow. Maybe you'll speak a truth you used to silence. Maybe you'll pause before people-pleasing and realize you have a choice. Maybe you'll cry without apologizing, or rest without guilt. That is how healing shows itself, not in grand awakenings, but in subtle rebellions against self-abandonment. And now, here, in this cocoon of dark softness, your body floats in the river of unconscious integration. You are not lost. You are being rewired. The roots are realigning. The story is shifting. And somewhere in the distance of your own mind, you see it. A room, one you've never entered before. Its walls shimmer like midnight silk. A single chair rests in the center, illuminated by a gentle light that casts no shadow. You walk toward it, without feet, without form, just presence. And as you enter, you feel it. This is the room of root cause, the source, where all pain begins, and all healing too. You sit, not out of exhaustion, out of readiness. You close your eyes, even though they were never really open. And suddenly, it comes. Not a flashback, not a nightmare, a knowing. The first moment you ever made yourself small to survive. The first time you withheld truth to keep the peace. The first breath you took with a clenched jaw instead of a soft heart. This moment floods you, not to hurt you, but to complete the loop. Because what the nervous system truly needs to heal is resolution. And tonight, your body is finally allowed to finish what it began decades ago, the full arc of feeling. You do not brace against this moment, you lean in. You let the grief bloom, full-bodied, ancient, maternal, not to be pitied, to be honored. Grief is not weakness. Grief is the soul saying, that mattered, that should not have happened, I deserved better. And tonight, you agree. You do not excuse the pain. You do not intellectualize it.